So, my apologies. My apologies. Trying to get this to work. Trying to get everything working. So, let's get on here. So, NBA fan. Been an avid NBA fan since I was a kid. Used to play basketball every day. Watch basketball all day, every day. College, NBA, all that, right? So, on my channel, I need to go live more. One of the things I'm going to go live on from here on out is the sports that I want to talk about. So, NBA news, there's a whole bunch of NBA news that happened, just not just the playoffs. So I want to talk about that. But first, let's start off with KD. KD, masterful last night. I know I'm talking fast because it's all I said already, but of course my mic wasn't on. I did my checks like I should have. KD was masterful. He did what he was supposed to do. He handled his business. Very impressed with him. People thought he needed to shoulder the load because Kyrie being out and James Harden was supposed to be out, but he ended up playing. And he did that. He did not disappoint at all. KD, I wish KD was a little more aggressive the first three quarters. He probably easily could have had a 60-point game. If KD would have dropped a 70 or 80-point game in the playoffs, it would have been crazy. But that's besides the point. I will say this, Milwaukee lost that game. I was talking about it and I was tweeting it in the first half. They were up 14 to 17 points, and it felt like as bad as Harris and Harden were shooting, Milwaukee should have easily been up 20, 30 points. And they could never break that mark. So they allowed Brooklyn to stay in the game the whole time. And I just couldn't get past it. And the coach for Milwaukee, Budenholzer, I said it. He needs to be fired. Like, Giannis, when I started watching the game, Giannis was on the bench quick, right? Second quarter, he was on the bench. He brung him in. Giannis scored like 6 straight points. Then he pulled him right back out. Still second quarter. And it was like, your man is eating right now. Why are you taking him out the game? You need to blow up this lead while you have a chance. Go ahead and deflate Brooklyn and go ahead, keep that crowd silent and move forward. But he didn't do it. And then like Giannis' brother would come in the game. And he'd come in for like 30 seconds. He'd take him out and bring him right back in 30 seconds later. It was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you were killing him. I say this about Giannis. Giannis should not shoot more than three threes a game. And the only way he should shoot more than 3 threes a game is if he makes all 3. I don't care if he makes 2 out of 3. No more than 3. And I know he's not that great of a shooter, but it kind of keeps the defense a little honest. Because sometimes a defender not thinking like, yo, he just hit 2 threes. Let me jump out on him, right? So you want that to happen. And I've seen him knock that one that rolled around the rim because the way he shoots it, he kind of twists his wrist a little bit. And so that's why it wasn't a swish and it didn't bounce like it should have normally did. That's why it rolled. But I get PJ Tucker has played KD well, but when we noticed that PJ wasn't able to stop KD that game, Giannis should have picked him up ASAP. I remember back in the days, and it's something that doesn't happen really anymore, when the best players guarded the best players, if you can guard that position, right? So, say your best defender, like say back in the day, Brian Grant, big power forward, right? But if that center was cooking, Brian Grant would switch to that center and start guarding him instead. I remember LeBron James guarding Tony Parker. Like, yo, that's not my position, but this man is cooking, and the people who's supposed to guard him can't stop him, so I'm going to stop him. Michael Jordan used to do this. Kobe Bryant used to do this. There's so many players back in the day that used to do this, and they don't do that much anymore. KD did switch off of his man, PJ Tucker, who wasn't doing shit, who scored 0 points, and switched to Middleton in the fourth quarter, which was smart. He wanted to make sure, yo, if anybody's going to beat us, it's going to be him. So let me stop him. But Giannis, I don't know what you were doing, man. You were on Joe Harris. You'd switch every now and then, but you wouldn't guard KD. Like, why were you scared to guard KD? Like, you just as tall as him. You're just as long as him, but you're stronger. Are you scared to get in foul trouble? Like, what was it that made you think like you should have been in a huddle? Like, you're the star player for the team. What you say goes. So if the coach is like, this is the defense. No, coach, I'm guarding KD. I want to shut him down. And that'd have been the end of it. But you didn't do it. So you're this great defensive player, but you don't guard the best player all the time. So that it is what it is. So enough about that. Congrats to Brooklyn. KD, you did a masterful job. James Harden, I give you credit for going out there and playing. We could see that you wasn't 100%, and you did enough just to keep the defense honest and made them watch you and not keep double teaming KD like they should have did. Bucks lost that game. Next news, because I'm trying to get through this fast so I can go hit the gym. So Scott Brooks is out for the Washington Wizards head coach. I thought he did a good job this year. I think the fact that they brung in Russell Westbrook after having those years without John Wall playing because he was injured, and they actually made the playoffs. And I thought they did pretty good. I think if they had a couple pieces, they probably would have beat Philadelphia. So, like, Philadelphia is not a juggernaut. They're not a super team. But Scott Brooks is out. Apparently, they couldn't come to terms on the contract extension. Scott Brooks wanted to have some security, and they couldn't promise him that, so he's out. That sucks. Who's going to be the next coach? There's so many out there. There's female coaches they want to have now. There's other new coaches, up-and-coming coaches. I just hope they don't recycle some coach who clearly wasn't winning, got fired multiple times, and got fired for legitimate reasons. Because there have been some coaches that got fired. Casey, when he was in Toronto, had the best record in the Eastern Conference, happened to lose to a LeBron James Cleveland team, but you fire him from the Toronto Raptors. Makes no sense. But, sometimes they do that in the NBA. Management doesn't feel like they're doing a good job or they're connecting. So he's out. We'll see who they pick up next for that. The other news is the Pelicans coach, not Stan Van Gundy, but Jeff Van Gundy. Not Jeff, Stan Van Gundy. He's out. Like, 1 year. A lot of people thought it was a bad idea for him to take over as a coach because he's been out of the game for so long, and they felt like he didn't have a connection with that team, with them being so young. But I think he was perfect for the job. I think a Stan Van Gundy, a Jeff Van Gundy, Thibodeau, Mark Jackson, those type of players that are coaches that are old school coaches that will instill that defense mentality into that team. That's what they need. I need Brandon Ingram. I need Lonzo Ball. I need Josh Hart. I need Zion Williamson. I need them to be hard-nosed playing. I need them to play like Steven Adams. Like, yo, we going to muscle you. Like, most of them, except for Brandon Ingram and Josh Hart, are big for their position. Big and strong. Lonzo Ball is tall. Zion, we know he's a beast. Steven Adams is a beast. Like, to have that mentality would have been perfect. It worked for the Knicks. Got the Knicks in the playoffs, right? They did some damage. So I think that was weird that he was out after 1 year. It'll be interesting who's next. I'm hearing Teresa Witherspoon, female WNBA legend, probably might be the next coach. There's some other people on the coaching block that they're looking at, but we'll see if it's historic and they bring a female coach in the league. I'm not going to share my thoughts on that. I'm going to leave that one alone. But Teresa Witherspoon is a beast. So hopefully, the interesting thing is you see a lot of players wanting to be coaches, but were they good leaders? Like Rondo. Rondo is going to be a good-ass coach. I felt like Jason Kidd was a good coach. I felt like Brian Scott had some time. Nate McMillan is a good coach. Scott Brooks is a good coach. So some of them do well as becoming coaches and some of them don't. So we'll see who they pick. We know what's her name for San Antonio Spurs. Becky Hammon is out there. She's supposed to be interviewing. I don't know. I have some bias towards her, and that's only because of the whole Black Lives Matter movement and the players wanting to kneel. And I get why Coach Pop didn't kneel, but I don't know what her reasons were why she didn't kneel. So for me, if I was a player, I kind of look at it kind of sideways, like, so, it's cool while we're making money for you, dribbling and shooting, but when it comes to our issues, you really stand with us. Just something to think about. Uh, Donnie Nelson out in Dallas. Oh well, you know, management's management. I do respect the Nelson name because Don Nelson with Golden State. I used to be a big Golden State fan before I switched over to Miami Heat. I switched to Miami Heat because Tim Hardaway was my favorite player. He's been my favorite player of all time. So when he was Golden State, I was Golden State through and through. He went to Miami. Golden State stayed my second team. Still is my second team, but Miami Heat is my team ever since then. So that Don Nelson name means something. R.I.P. to him. But Donnie Nelson out. So we'll see what happens with the Luka saga now that they got rid of somebody else. Well, somebody that he liked instead of getting rid of somebody he didn't like. So we'll see what changes with that. But I'm not going to make this long. That's pretty much it. You got 2 games going on tonight. Utah versus the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard is out. We'll see what kind of effect that has. Hopefully Utah doesn't play lax because when the star's out, maybe PG-13 comes back and shows why he was a MVP nominee a few years back. And he might try to drop 50 on them boys. And maybe Morris can hit some shots outside of the Staples Center. But hopefully my boy Donovan Mitchell will go off, especially since he got snubbed from the All-NBA team. He should have been on there. He should have replaced him and Tatum. Both should have been on there. I don't know if PG-13 shouldn't have been on the list, for one. How do you have the number 1 team in the league? You're the star player of that team, best record, and you're not on that list. So we'll see. But that's it for me. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's NBA news is going on. I'm going to try to do one of these weekly till the season's over with. We'll see if I stick with it. It's hard to keep up with this YouTube thing and trying to keep up with the YouTube algorithm and trying to stream important content that people are actually going to view, as well as push it out to people while still enjoying life and doing what I want to do. I've been in the gym killing it. So that's been my top priority, is to get back in shape like I used to be. As you can see, I haven't been streaming lately any games. If you go on the Twitch, I haven't done anything the past week or so. So just trying to refocus, think about what I want this channel to really be, what content I want to provide, and plus with this traveling stuff, it's kind of hard to really sit down, buckle down, and figure out what it is that I want and how to do it, because a lot of my equipment isn't where I need it to be. So I still need my other camera. I'm on this camera right now, so we'll see. X100V, we'll see what happens with that. But appreciate your time. Y'all have a good one. Peace.